welcome back to another episode of Insta 99 Podcast, where we've got 99 cards, because Commander is number one. I am your Necromancer with all the answers, Necro Zach, and I am joined by my other lovely hosts,
What's up?
Dan and Lotus. I was hoping you guys would just jump in.
Oh, I thought you forgot our names.
It's been so long.
It's been...
I thought you guys would want to introduce yourselves. My bad.
No, all good. Hey guys, how's it going? This week we're going to be talking spoilers. We have a guest, Jason. Jason, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jason. I'm with the Commander Hub, hoping to be part more of the 99. Or into the 99, my bad. It's way too early in the morning. But
Strike one?
Strike, yeah.
We're bad at organizing time zones. I did say the right time, but not time. You said that you're in a weird time zone that doesn't listen to the rest of the time zone of the state.
Yep. So it's not your fault. I'm horrible at this stuff. I love Commander. I've been playing for many years. And yeah, I just love the whole idea of Commander. I actually left Magic because I was back in the day because there just wasn't enough to the game. And then years down the road, some people were playing Commander. I got to play my first deck into Commander was Scion of the Air Dragon, competitive.
Nice.
So I got to, had no idea what was going on, and bought a starter deck of elves and has been building the Frey Elise deck and has been building elf decks since then. I'm up to 5, and I think I have a problem.
Sounds awful.
Anyone that plays elves.
It's always a really good time to find a tribe that you like and then just never change from it.
You know, I told my meta that they need to change for me. I'm not changing.
It's like Zach, you're never going to not have a Village Rites in a deck that has black. I get it.
I literally just took a Village Rites out of this 5-color deck I'm working on.
Are you feeling all right?
Zach's growing as a person.
Well, I put Read the Bones in.
The land is healing. So obviously everyone knows that there's a new set coming out. I'm pretty sure everything has been spoiled. The Commander spoilers, and because again we're getting 4 Commander decks because we never had enough Commander decks. We're going to try to get through all our rares because, well, I like to talk about the rares and the mythics, but I don't know if we are because there's a lot of them. So we're going to just jump right into the Commander side of it. We're a Commander podcast. We care about Commander things. Zach, take us away with the first one.
All right, the first one I'm super excited about is Prosper Tomebound. It's 2 black and a red for a legendary creature, Tiefling Warlock. Makes me so happy. That's what I'm playing in my current D&D campaign. It's a 1/4 with Death Touch, and it has 2 innate abilities. The first one is Mystic Arcanum. At the beginning of your end step, exile a top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. And then Pact Boon. Whenever you play a card from exile, create a treasure token.
I think that's a pretty solid card.
I love this card. Like I said, I'm playing a Tiefling Warlock right now, and this is just, it's everything. I'm so happy that this exists.
Well, it's kind of like a built-in card draw in a way, but it's protected from discard and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you obviously get your treasure tokens whenever you cast stuff, so you're able to ramp even harder.
And, you know, it being in exile is just protection in general, and it being worded the way where it's until the end of your next turn is just kind of nice.
I definitely think it's a cool one. I have not looked through the Commander spoilers yet, just the face cards, so I really don't know their themes yet. I know that there's what is the name of the decks again? Something like Draconic Rage. There's something about a dungeon.
I'm coming into these spoilers for the first time fresh-eyed because I wanted it to be a surprise for myself as well as everyone else.
So you also don't know?
I have no idea.
We'll find these themes out as we go. Lotus, I'll get you to take the next one here.
Right, Sephris of the Hidden Ways, white, blue, black for a 2/3 human wizard. When 1 or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, venture into the dungeon. This ability triggers only once each turn. To venture into a dungeon, enter the first room or advance to the next room. And then it has Create Undead. Whenever you complete a dungeon, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. I'm already liking this.
Esper's good colors to throw things in the graveyard.
True.
We finally have a designated Reanimator Commander in Esper. We haven't actually had a Reanimator Commander. We had ones that we could make work, like...
Because of color, yeah.
Yeah, but this is the first one, so I was actually really excited about this too.
Well, and the venture, all the venture in the dungeon mechanic stuff, it seems like it's really good utility. So that makes sense why Lotus would like this one so much.
I've saw the dungeons, all 3 of them, and they make me so happy. They're the only things that I did see spoiled, and I'm definitely building a deck that's all about dungeon crawling.
It bothers me there's only 3.
I hope that they do expand that, and I think it's a good thing to do because they can make a dungeon out of anything, right? That doesn't have to be D&D. So going forward, it's a new mechanic that they can put in, venture into the dungeon.
The thing is, if they were to put some in these commander decks to give it more, they would technically be standard legal as far as I'm aware, because it just says create a dungeon. There's no legality to any of them because they're not cards, they're like tokens.
So I guess for the moment they can't really put more in.
Yeah, you have to wait until standard has rotated to see if we can get more.
I would have just loved a Curse of Strahd or a Adventures of the Sword Coast. That was the first module I ever played, which I'm still fairly new to D&D, but that was the first one I ever played. So it would have just been nice to have that, like, we're Adventures of the Sword Coast, you know?
I mean, you never know. Secret lair dungeon.
I would buy that 100%.
The next one we have is the Gruul Commander. It's Vrondis, Rage of Ancients for a Dragon Barbarian. 3 colorless, 1 red, 1 green for a 5/4. It has Enrage, which I personally do like as a mechanic. Whenever Vrondis is dealt any damage, you may create a 5/4 red and green dragon spirit creature with, when it deals damage, sacrifice it. Then whenever you roll 1 or more dice, you can have it deal 1 damage to itself. So I love the chaos aspect of rolling dice. I enjoyed when Zach made his Pippa deck because it's fun. Like I just like to sit. I've said it many times before on the podcast. If you play something like Game of Chaos, me and my brothers will flip until one of us dies. We will play full out, just gamble the game away. So a dice roll commander is pretty cool. Very on theme for the set. I think it's super fun.
Oh, I want to build this with Polyraptor.
You've not spoken a truer sentiment than you and your brother in Chaos. From personal experience, you guys are just monsters. Really
quickly, I know we got lots to get through today, but we played, some new people came out last night for the first time. It was the first time coming out to Game Store to play. And we were just like playing Chaos, so I did what I always do, ask a normal, like, hey, what's the power level of the decks? And we didn't really get like a concrete-ish kind of answer, so Connor just jumped into Norin because Norin's just kind of chaotic as is. And I played, I basically just got people to pick from a deck box, and I played my Crewfix deck. So we're into the game. I have like 900 mana stored on Crewfix. Everyone's like doing stuff. I have no max hand size, and I'm like flashing like Void Slime, Counterspell. I'm sitting there holding like Blue Sun Zenith, like, hey, what's this about, guys? It was a fun game.
Sounds fun.
You're a monster.
Yeah. Well, I hope they had fun playing. I had a lot of fun playing those games. I really like playing new ones. Jason, you have some thoughts on the next one?
Oh yes, Gilia, Kinder of Hope. It is a Bant commander. Costs him 1 colorless, 1 green, 1 white, 1 blue, and Elf Knight. So pretty relevant creature types. Has Vigilance, so 4/4. That's talking about just a power. It's not okay there, but this is where it gets nuts. You may look at the top card of any of your deck or of your library at any time. You may cast an aura or enchantment spell from the top of your deck or top of your library. When you cast the enchantment spell this way, it gains. When this enchantment enters the battlefield, you can attach it to target creature you control. And my thoughts is this is what Tuvasa the Sunlit should have been. The equipment side, probably not, but just cares about enchantments, all that good stuff. It should have had that. You look at the top card, that feels like a very Theros kind of thing. And it does feel like they are trying to realize, the commanders that from past that we've printed don't come to snuff, and now they're just printing cards to kind of keep the previous commanders up to speed.
Yeah, Tuvasa is not as strong as she should have been. Like, it triggers once each turn on your first cast, Where this one, if you have anything like a Soothsaying, for instance, like the enchantment where you can restack the top of your library, that's a really good card to be like, okay, I'm going to put 3 equipments on top. You're going to be playing an enchantment themed deck. You're going to try to flash things out in these colors. I see this being a really fun one, and especially with the auto attach of equipments, being able to flash like a sword of like body and mind off the top of your deck is rough.
Or Sword of Feast and Famine.
Yeah, someone's trying to beast within my commander, and I just flash out a pro green card, like a Spectral Ward.
Yeah, or you go to I swing, but wait, there's more. You know what I mean? There's going to be a very
nuts. It's just nuts because this is so many cards rolled into one. We have like Sidgarda's Aid, we have like a Stoneforge Mystic type feel, we have Soothsaying, or even like what's the other card I'm thinking of? Future Sight, where you're able to look at the top, you're able to attach things for free. Like, it's just
top deck knowledge is so valuable. Knowing what's coming up is awesome, and then you're not restrained by the draw, right? Because if you obviously you're going to run something like a Courser of Kruphix so that you can play your lands off the top of your deck and get them out of the way. But like I think this is actually one of the ones that I'm the most excited for. I really want to play the Gruul one and this Bant one because I'm a sucker for Bant commanders.
Yeah, and I think if you're building if you're building your Enchantress deck in Bant, I'm so sorry. Let me start out with that. I have a Bant. I have the exact same deck. You show up to a table and people are like, ugh.
Oh,
it's
this
Bant
deck,
yeah. You always get that. I know you just got to play through that.
Bant enchantments, yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you're just going into it, I think you'll choose this and then have Tuvasa in the 99 itself.
Yeah, Tuvasa in the deck for sure because it's a strong card. But I think this is the better commander on its face. It's same mana cost. Or is Tuvasa 3?
Tuvasa's 3.
Okay, so you're paying one more for constant top deck
knowledge, which is worth it. But if you have a Tuvasa deck, I don't think you're going to have to remake it. I don't think we're at that point, but this does send a message like, hey, you need to start thinking about looking at new cards.
What bums me out is like you have this card and you have the Gruul guy, and they're kind of like constant, whereas Sephiroth and Prosper are very like you can only do this once per turn, right? Mystic Arcanum only triggers at the beginning of your end step, and Sephiroth says whenever you complete a dungeon, whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, venture into the dungeon, and you can only whenever you complete a dungeon, you can return it from the battlefield. So like, I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of crappy that they only trigger once each turn, right? Whereas these two, they're just no.
But what you got to remember is when you go into a dungeon, you get normally a static effect that's permanent.
Yeah.
And
Sephiroth, I understand why they made it once per turn. Really do. Because we've all seen those aristocrat decks, and she does have white and black, where you Teysa Markov.
Yeah.
You just put a Teysa Markov.
Oh, I guess it would double. You can still trigger.
Yeah.
If you double the death trigger, Lotus, would that still trigger twice?
Can only happen once.
This ability triggers only
physically
once.
only once.
Yeah, they've hard capped it.
I'll continue to argue this, but like, yeah, you're right. You could have an aristocrats package, but
what they're saying is they're stopping that. They're stopping that. Like
I get that. I get why they did it this way, but I'm still saying like the other two are very, very strong without any restrictions. And that seems kind of ridiculous to me.
I personally see like the Sephiroth going the way of like annoying Ophiomancer sacrifice things. Like I already know Zach will put something like that in where he gets a creature every turn to sacrifice.
I just want to make a dungeon deck.
I took apart. So I have an Esper Twin Triplets deck that's just all hate bears. It actually just uses Sin Triplets to stop people from counterspelling. It doesn't even care what's in your hand. It never is going to steal anything. It just says, hey, since you can't cast, you're not going to counterspell you just target the blue player every single time. And I took that card out, Sin Triplets, for Severus, because now my hate bears actually feel on theme. I have a reanimation for the hate bears.
I can't see the name of the next one, but the next one, just Zach was reading to me what it does. It is something dragon. It is 5 and Gruul, and it has flying haste. Whenever it attacks, add X mana in any combination of colors where X is the total power of attacking creatures. This mana can only be used for spells until at a turn it doesn't empty. First off, this is an amazing card for like any Dragon deck or any like power. That's what Gruul decks do. Gruul decks swing, right? So I'm kind of sad to see a card that obviously every Gruul deck is going to want confined into just the commander deck. Because on its face, like 7 mana in red green is nothing. You're not even hard pressed to start casting that. And yeah, that's like huge. Like every Rurik Thar deck is gonna want something like this too. Like that's a big boy.
Yep. I mean, you might be able to get it into the collector boosters though.
Yeah, but that's the I say it more than times than I can count. Commander players are animals. None of us trade things in. Zach brings some things in. He's nice. Lotus sometimes does. I don't bring anything in. If I get a card, it's never going back in the case. So like me getting it in a collector booster or like set boosters is irrelevant to the fact of it existing at all. They might as well not have printed it, right? And a lot of players play that way. They don't ever put the cards back.
Fair.
So
I'm just there might be more in the market. That's all I'm saying.
Not here. There won't Lotus.
Not over there. You're animals.
we got a big commander play group. Those cards do not hit the binder.
All right.
Yeah, Zach, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. I can't read this one.
Can I be selfish and just read a bunch of these because
these are your flavor, please, Zach.
I'm way too hyped about this deck.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so I'm going to probably butcher some names, guys. Just deal with it. I went to public school. Karzakir, the Eye Tyrant, is 3 black and a red for a legendary creature, Beholder, which I'm so excited we have Beholders as a creature type now.
Yep.
It's a 5/5, and whenever you attack a player, tap target creature that player controls and goad it. Whenever an opponent attacks another one of your opponents, you and the attacking player each draw a card and lose 1 life.
Solid.
That's pretty sweet.
It's so cool. Like, it's such a unique like deal. It reminds me of what. You got something?
Yeah, I've just twigged. I might be slow on the uptake on this, but you've got the 4 face commanders, which are the quote-unquote good guys. And then you've got the secondary commanders for each deck, which are the bad guys. And I've just twigged that that's what this is.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be like heroes and villains kind of thing?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's sweet because like Beholders are another creature type in D&D that are very synonymous with D&D, right? Like we have Slivers from Magic D&D creature type that Magic created. Beholders are kind of the same way. Like you think dragons, but Beholders are also very synonymous. So getting Beholders is already awesome, but getting something like this, it's unique and kind of a weird political type thing.
Politics in Rakdos when Rakdos only knows kill.
I will say this. I love the coloring because it's like now you can make the joke, the eyes in the beholder, and it just feels so Rakdos. It's like, yeah, all of our stuff is ugly, but it's beautiful to us.
I've been working on a Xantcha list for a while, and I haven't made a solid concrete list that I really like. I want to put in paper yet, but this guy makes me kind of want to retool that because this is the same kind of deck you'd want to play a Xantcha in, right? This is a commander where you could probably switch between the two, and it'd be fine.
I see like a lot of fun politics and like Goad is a fun mechanic in general. I just put together a Goad deck and it is annoying.
You've seen my Daryl Goad deck.
I haven't seen it. No, I've only seen the list.
Lotus has.
No, I've played against it. It's
a lot of fun.
It's interactive with everyone but Zach.
The next one I've also got to get Zach to read because I saw this and I just started spamming him. I was like, Zach, check this out. Look at this. What is this?
So we have Lorcan Warlock Collector. It's 5 black for a legendary creature devil. It's a 6/6 with flying. Whenever a creature card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, you can pay life equal to its mana value. If you do, put it onto the battlefield under your control. It's a warlock in addition to its other types. Then it says if a warlock you control dies, exile it instead. There is no downside.
I'm
to this
sorry,
card.
what?
Yes.
Nuts.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, it's insane. And I forget who posted about it on Twitter because I was thinking the same thing, but if you have something like oh god, what's the card I'm thinking of? It's I think 3 black, and it's an enchantment, and you choose a creature type, and creatures are the chosen type.
Oh, conspiracy.
Conspiracy, yes. So if you name something that isn't warlock, it supersedes them being warlocks, so you never exile them.
Well, but that's the thing is I think you would want to exile them. If I was playing this against you, I don't want your creatures going back to your grave. No.
But
I guess you can then if you conspiracy, you supersede the creature type, you can just continue to recur my creatures, Zach?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yes, it's very good.
So,
it's very sweet.
So this is a mono black elf deck that I'm reading.
Oh, I like that. That actually is a lot stronger than I thought on its face when you put it that way, because the ability to recur your own creatures, I know how powerful that can be, especially playing with you over like the year. I've definitely seen that go more and more, but playing other people's creatures kind of makes a really, really interesting, it's only as powerful as the deck you're playing.
So it's really cool because it does that. It does scale, and you know how much I love playing clone decks and reanimator decks, because for that very big reason is that it scales to the power level of the table. It's not an awkward conversation for most of the time. But what's really awesome is being able to rebuy creatures, and this is kind of in the same space as Chainer. And Chainer, the big downside is like you have to invest a bunch of mana into Chainer. You know, you have to have that 3 black constantly to be able to make nightmares. This is just life, and we're in black already. You know as well as I do. We can easily get life back. We can easily like go negative and
tutor out an eternity vessel. Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of different things that this commander can do, and I'm very excited about it. I'm just
looking at it and seeing the words aren't written the same for me. I'm just seeing, hey, when you discard your Eldrazi, Zach can take it because it's from anywhere.
Yep.
This would be a really, really good include into like the Turgid style decks, where you're just making people discard things instead, and then again you just put a little bit more life gain in it. Make your friends unhappy, and you're good to go.
See, I thought about it in the same way. Like, I have that black-blue Lazav deck that's all about milling and stealing from people's graveyard.
Yuck.
This, if it's on the battlefield, I can't beat Eldrazi typically if they get shuffled, right? I can now. At the low price of like...
Am I right in saying that both triggers hit the stack and the person affected chooses which one resolves first?
For which one?
I'm not sure.
So, argument's sake, you have Emrakul that when it hits the graveyard, its owner shuffles it back in. That says once it's hit the graveyard, you can pay mana. The person affected gets to reorganize those triggers how they want them to resolve.
Well, you play life.
I don't think so, because I think it hitting the graveyard triggers Emrakul first, and then I respond to the trigger by paying.
I see where you're coming, though.
Yeah.
I'm fairly positive it works like Lorcan would happen first. But I don't know. That sounds like a level 2 question.
Yeah, I'm not smart enough for that, so...
I'll find out.
You find out. Know. Get back to us. Bag of Devouring is one I did want to talk about. It's a 1 black artifact. Whenever you sack another non-token artifact or creature, exile it. So an artifact recursion kind of thing as well. For 2, sack another artifact or creature, draw a card. This is Zach's wheelhouse. Zach loves anything that lets him sacrifice. For 3, sack it, roll a d10, return up to X cards from among cards exiled with it to their owner's hand, where X is the result. I really, really like that.
It's really neat. It's good hand protection. If you're wanting to wheel yourself, it's a good way to like put stuff in other directions. I don't know. It's just neat.
Well, if you have as well, like even just for your own protection of something, like if you have a essential combo piece to what you're doing, like Turgid, and you don't want people to get rid of Turgid, it's pretty easy to just pay your 2 mana, sack Turgid, and bring Turgid back, because you're always going to get at least 1 on a d10.
A d10? Ooh.
Yeah, there are a bunch of different dice types called out.
Yeah, I actually think that those are pretty fun. Zach, please continue with your Rakdos list here.
Yes.
Oh.
The next one I'm super excited about because I literally just got it on my wizard because it's a wizard warlock. I literally just got this yesterday and I'm so hyped. It's Dance Macabre. It's 3 black for a sorcery. Each player sacrifices a non-token creature. Roll a d20 and add the toughness of the creature you sacrifice this way. 1 to 14, you get to return a creature card put into the graveyard this way into the battlefield under your control. 15 plus, return up to 2 creature cards put into a graveyard this way onto the battlefield under your control. So, you roll a d20, everyone sacrifices a creature, whatever the toughness is of the creature you sacrificed, you add to it, and if it's 15 or more, you get 2 creatures that were put on the into the graveyard that everyone sacked onto the battlefield under your control.
I love it. I love rolling dice.
So let me just put this out there. Mm-hmm. You have a Kokosho.
Mm-hmm.
You sacrifice Kokosho. You only have to roll a 10 or better
to get it back. Yep.
No, you're going to get it back, but to get an additional creature, because you're going to choose the Kokosho because you can choose it because it's in the graveyard now.
Oh, yeah, I guess you automatically do get one. There is no real fail on this.
No.
There is just only greater success.
Yeah.
Well, it does what black does typically, like you're paying 5 to reanimate something. You're guaranteed at 5, you're guaranteed a reanimation.
Which the black deck's already running.
This, like I said, I hadn't looked through it. The Rakdos deck actually looks pretty entertaining so far from what it is. I don't know what they've put into, like the list we're looking at is just the normal list of just new cards. Also, there's almost no way we're getting to we'll do D&D spoilers next week. We'll do just Commander ones this week. I was looking at our time. I was like, there's just no way.
It's too exciting, Dan.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like as soon as I said it out loud, I was like, there's a lot of new Commander cards. We should really talk about these.
Yeah.
Moving on, we're still talking about Beholders, but this is another very sweet card. It's Death Tyrant. It's 4 and a black for a Beholder skeleton.
I gotta jump in. That artwork is amazing.
Yes.
It's stunning.
That's awesome.
So it's a 4/6 with Menace, and it has an innate ability, Negative Energy Cone. I absolutely love the flavor for this stuff. Whenever an attacking creature you control or a blocking creature an opponent controls dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. You can pay 5 and a black, return Death Tyrant from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
Or a blocking creature an opponent dies. So
whenever an attack...
So again, if you're running the other Beholder in it and you're playing a Goad deck, if I'm swinging out Lotus's blocking and killing my creatures, or Lotus's creatures are dying from it, you're getting zombies, I love it.
Or try this. They block your Death Touch. This thing's in the graveyard. You pay 6, you bring it out, you get 2 out of it. And it.
Whenever an attacking creature control or a blocking creature an opponent control dies, it's not even... It can be the zombies it creates.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So
your zombies just remake zombies?
So what I'm getting here is let's put something like cow drops in the deck.
Exactly.
And then
Ooh.
Whenever a creature's dealt damage...
What monsters do I play with?
or even you could play a Grave Titan and you just get more zombies.
I love it.
Am I making a Rakdos Goad deck?
Oh,
and it's got Menace. It can actually get into people too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the built-in recursion's annoying because this is a great token creator, and then people are going to want to kill it, and you're all right, fair enough. But here it is.
I think my only complaint is it's not legendary.
Yeah,
that's what I was sad about actually.
That's some weird artwork. I love it.
If we sat down and someone rule 0 this as their commander, I wouldn't care.
I mean, I'm really sad that the Sword of Dungeons and Dragons wasn't made black border, so I'm rule 0ing that.
Anything is a black border if you have a Sharpie.
All right, moving on. Fervid Suspicion. It's 6 black and a red for sorcery. Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. You may cast any number of spells from among the non-land cards while paying its mana cost, and it has Rebound.
I wish it was a little cheaper, but you are going to get... This is stuff... so the reason I like playing Selvala so much, the Selesnya Selvala, is because it scales with how big the table is. This kind of does too. So like you're playing a 6-player game for some reason, you're getting 5 casts for your 8 mana. That's pretty strong.
I play mono green Savala, so we're gonna.
For the love of God, I can use this in Kess.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But this thing, if we're talking about the spell that is a Beholder sorcery that anybody can copy, this is the card. Like, this feels like I'm a Beholder. Hear me roar. I get to do everything. Have a good time. And it does. And it's so amazing. Yes, you're going to whiff on this if you've played this a whole bunch. You're going to get a Dark Ritual. But
you never would. That's the thing. You just always get something. It might not be what you want, but it happens twice. So you're essentially, it's 8 mana. So if first turn you don't succeed, you get it again the next turn because it rebounds.
I mean, you're guaranteed to get stuff because you're exiling cards until you reach a non-land card.
I personally would try and scheming symmetry and be like, oh yeah, like we'll just like go to the top of our library. I would trick people into being like, yeah, like you know what, like you can get what you want and everything, like, and then no, mine.
You monster.
There will be a time where you get omniscience.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I'm hoping for an omniscience. Basically, to me, this card is called Roll for Omniscience.
Yeah, or even an extra turn. You got to think. You get to play with blue in a deck that was not ever gets to think about playing blue.
And you don't get any whiffs on land cards. You just get something into. And like Zach said, you are doing it twice. So in a normal 4-player game, you're casting 6 spells for free for 8 mana.
I'm happy with that, even if you just get 1 mana spells.
In anything that like is a cast doubler as well, like a Fevered Visions kind of deck. Not Fevered Visions, what's the 1,000-Year Storm deck? Sorry. Very different cards.
Yeah.
That's actually a really strong card to like storm off.
Put Lithoform Engine in and Twining Staff and all the rest of it and have like 4 or 5 of them on the stack.
It's very...
You know what I will say to you, Lotus?
I love magical...
Here's my deck. I would like to play it also, but I understand. You win.
I just read the next one, and Zach, again, please.
Yeah, I've got the next 4, and then you guys can take over. So we have Pain Lash. It's 1 in a red for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has reach. Whenever equipped creature is dealt damage, it deals damage equal to power to target player or planeswalker, and it equips for 2 in a red.
Oh, for God's sakes, they made Brash Taunter an equipment.
I have a slight problem with this. Why does it give reach? It's a whip. When you've got the god... The white god, what's her name? From Armenket.
Oketra?
Oketra, who has a bow and arrow, who doesn't have reach. But this guy with a whip can.
Oh, you're thinking of Nissa, or not, Nylea.
This whip is simply built different.
Fair.
Pain Lash is sick. I'm very, very happy about this card existing.
Yeah, Impiru? Ooh, don't like that.
Yeah. Oh, buddy.
That's a really good equipment. And it makes something just annoying to block.
Whenever equipped creatures dealt damage. So you could throw this on a stuffy doll and just...
Yeah, you're understanding how Zach's brain works.
Yeah.
Stuffy doll is garbage. Brash Taunter. Brash Taunter.
I mean,
in Zach's mind, the king of goblins.
Yes. In everyone's mind, the king of goblins. All right, moving on.
What is this next one?
No, wait, no.
It's real good, Dan. Grim Hireling. It's 3 and a black for another Tiefling Rogue, and it's a 3/2. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create 2 treasure tokens. You can pay a black and sack X treasures. Target creature gets -X until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery.
So again, if you hit all 3 players, you get 6 treasure tokens. We're playing Rakdos Goad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It gives treasures other than... Okay, so we've all seen it. Somebody just stashing treasures. I've been that player. I have 124 treasures. What am I going to do with it? I don't know. They're just sitting there. I can't physically do everything I want to do because there's just so many treasures. I could do everything, and then I still have more, right? This gives your treasures now something to do after they've gotten over that huge...
This is the Avacyn Assassin, to be honest.
That's what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I got a lot of decks that really rely on Avacyn being indestructible.
I mean, shove an academy manufacturer in this?
I write a lot of checks with my mouth that sometimes I can't cash, and Avacyn really backs those up. Ooh.
Yep.
So I got 2 more cards I want to talk about, then I'm going to stop talking about cards for a while. Next one is Hellish Rebuke. It's 2 and a black. And I had to read this card about 6 times, so if you're not with me, we'll talk about it together. It's an instant. Until end of turn, permanents your opponent's control gain. When this permanent deals damage to the player who casts Hellish Rebuke, sacrifice this permanent, you lose 2 life.
No one can see my face, but I'm disgusted.
Yeah.
This is better than Rakdos Charm, Dan.
This hurts my feelings.
This is better than Rakdos Charm. You know how you kill Dan? Rakdos Charm. You know how you really kill Dan? Hellish Rebuke.
Sacrifice it. This destroys every Purphoros deck. You can't get around the indestructible. Well, goodbye, Purphoros.
And also, I mean, they still deal the damage, which is annoying. But you know, anytime you have like elves, this is like the anti-elf card. Oh, you swung at me? Oh, guess what? You swung with all your lords too.
Until
Die.
end of turn, permanents your opponent. And they gain that. So even if I, like, let's say that I decide I'm going to swing out and kill Zach. On Zach's way out, I now sacrifice my field and lose, again, 2 life for all of my tokens. I have 80 snake tokens. I'm swinging at Zach. I sack 80 snake tokens, and that's rough. What a great instant. And again, another card that I'm kind of unhappy is only going to be in, like, the Commander printings, because there is a lot of decks I could use this in.
Yeah.
This is a good instant.
Dan, I'll spite you out of the game with this card every single time.
It's an amazing card. That's that is a threat changing card. Like it's kind of like how you swing at people has to now change based on this card possibly being in the deck, because you having to sacrifice your field. Again, my Avacyn, any of my indestructible board state kind of thing. This is really, really rough, and killing you is usually the answer to getting rid of something annoying.
Yep.
You can't counterspell my damage.
This is my Teferi's Protection.
It is a good Teferi's Protection kind of card.
Costs the same.
All right, so this is going to be the last card I'm going to talk about for a little while. It is Hurl Through Hell. It's 2, a black and a red for an instant. You exile target creature. Until the end of your next turn, you may cast that card, and you may spend mana as though or any color to cast that spell.
Solid removal.
Okay, so you play Tibalt, you then cast this, exile Tibalt, and then cast it with the Planeswalker side on the other side?
Yeah, cast a Valky.
Yep.
I like that. Honestly, it looks like a really, really solid... it looks like a solid deck on its face. Like, I really, really like what they're doing with it and kind of where they're going. Reckless Endeavor, I don't like that mana cost. 5 double red for a sorcery, roll 2d12, I do like that, and choose 1 result. It deals damage equal to that result to each creature. Then create a number of treasure tokens equal to the other result. I do like that. So you can possibly get 12 treasure tokens off your 7 mana spell, and board
Kills.
You know what this pairs well with, Dan?
everything.
Brash Tawner.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's true.
This goes in Peru.
To
He's
each
100%.
creature. Honestly, Pandemonium's a good... not Pandemonium. What's the one I'm thinking, Zach?
What is the one you're
It's
thinking?
the enchantment.
It's Repercussion.
Repercussion, yeah. That's one of my favorite enchantments. I keep finding it, and I buy it every time because you never see it, and Repercussion is such a good one, and this will kill the table with Repercussion.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
super, super good in Firesong and Sunspeaker because I can lifelink it.
Yeah, that deck's disgusting, Dan.
Yeah, I like to... My favorite thing to do in that deck is the game's not done until I have 10,000 life.
Oh,
I'm personally more... I think I like Repercussion better in Peru, but, you know. That's just me.
Oh, I do have to talk about this next one because I love this card. I
figured
play
you
a
would.
lot of nonsense decks that make the table unhappy, and this is one of the cards for it. Share the spoils. First and foremost, I don't think people are like thinking this way that I am. This is just nonsense cancer against competitive decks. It's horrible. I hate it, and I'm so excited to play it. Share the spoils. 1 in a red. Favorite card of the set so far. When it enters the battlefield or an opponent loses the game, exile the top card of each player's library. During each player's turn, that player can play a land or cast a spell from among the cards exiled with Share the Spoils. They may spend mana as though or mana of any color to cast it. When they do, exile the top card of their library. I love it.
So if we're playing, and I see this in the competitive scene,
Yeah.
and I have blue in it, Yes, I see exactly what you're saying. Because all it has to do is one player just is like, hey, I gotta get going. Boom, activates. Or somebody gets knocked out. Boom, it happens.
Well, and the other thing is you can play like Zach can put this down and be like, well, I will now play Daniel's Bazaar of Baghdad. I'm going to take Jason's Mana Crypt. And Lotus, I'm feeling like your food chain looks good.
I would like those things in a game, yes.
I'm just thinking about keep on bouncing this enchantment.
Well, no. So it refreshes every time anyone plays it. So if you play my land, you put the top card of your deck into the pool to play.
During each player's turn, that player may play a land. They may spend mana on any card.
Oh, gosh.
When they do, exile the top card of their... Oh!
So it just continues going. So first and foremost, an amazing, like, if you play, like, any competitive Magic, this is an amazing budget replacement because you can just take you can get this out turn 1 and just take my win con off the top of my deck. If I have, like, a land that's important or, like, I'm running, like, a Hermit Druid kind of combo, you're like, I'm going to cast Hermit Druid. So what's up? You can use mana of any color, so you're sitting there casting my, like, again... You just like Thassa's Oracle. You cast my Thassa's Oracle for your Mana Crypt mana. It's nonsense, and I love it.
Can you imagine you're playing this in a mono red deck and you cast someone's Crater Hoof?
Gross.
No. Here's the disgusting one that's going to play it. I'm actually going to find a spot in it today for it. Joyra, Weatherlight Captain.
Yep.
Because it refreshes anytime you do it. So those Cheerios, it will go, I play a Cheerio. Happens. I play a Cheerio. Happens.
This is, yeah, so it replaces, because Joyra you generally need, that's Connor's competitive deck, you need the draw engine online, and this is the draw engine online, but on top of it you can take other people's stuff. So you can possibly be sitting there with your untapped Soul Rings that you constantly have because everything's 0 mana, and you're like, I'll just simply counterspell you're stopping my win con. I love this card. The minute I saw this, I texted like everyone on my playgroup. I was like, oh my god, did you see this nonsense?
I knew you would love it. That's why I was like, I'm going to read my wizard and warlock stuff, and then Dan can have this nonsense.
Anyone who wants to sell these cards, you have an indefinite buyer. I'm like I said, as soon as I saw this card, I was like, man, this is amazing. I'm gonna take every one of these cards.
I am never going to not see this card in a deck ever. Like, it's going to be in every deck you play.
Like I said, I personally really, really like budget CEDH, right? I still play like a budget Halden and Paco game when people are like new to it. I just like playing other people's stuff, so this just is so on theme with just the nonsense I like to do in every game of Magic. I could talk for 20 minutes about how fun it is to play other people's cards. It's so good. I love everything about this card.
Dan,
Also, the fact that it happens when somebody leaves, like quits the game, Joyra is going to be so dumb because there will be somebody at some point when you're going through your deck that's just like...
When you're taking a 35-minute turn?
Yeah, we'll just be like, I'm done. And it'll happen again, and you're like, oh, I didn't want to expect that one. Okay, we'll continue.
Well, and the other thing, too, is that like top deck control is really, really difficult to deal with because we don't want our cards in this pool. We want our cards on the top of our deck or in our hand and stuff, right? So the fact that like every time you just have the constant refresh, but like you also have the fear that somebody can get something like this out. There's Flash is just rampant in CEDH, and so is like a good. This on turn 1 is no problem, and the fact that like you can lose your good lands or your good pieces, you can lose your color fix, you can start taking my volcanic islands and really just cut. Like I cannot speak enough about how fun it is. If you want to play budget decks, play cards like this and play your friends' expensive cards. You play your whatever.
I've just read the next one.
Yeah, it pairs so well,
it's
right?
disgusting.
Well,
Ooh, I don't like that.
Wild Magic Sorcerer, 3 and a red for a 4/3 Orc Shaman. The first spell you cast from exile each turn has Cascade. Share the Spoils is from exile.
Is Cascade not casting from exile? So every time you exile, you get a Cascade again?
It's your first spell.
First spell.
You cast from exile. So if I Cascade something, like if I'm playing an Averna deck, as Zach is wont to do, I play Averna, I Cascade, that's my first spell I'm casting from exile, so I'm just Cascade.
You may cast this card from without paying its mana cost. Put all exile cards.
Mm.
This is
I'm
just
reading
another
the remote.
Cascade doubler. I love it.
Okay, I see how it double. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Judge.
I need to sit down and read.
What
The
a great
first
card.
time-
And whenever you cast from exile, I love it. Any rebound cards. Any rebound cards suddenly become... The Eye of the Beholder spell has Cascade?
Yes.
Yuck.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a... So is this all... Are these all from the Rakdos deck?
Yes,
Yeah,
I was
I'm
going
going
to
to buy
say.
another one
Yeah.
of the Rakdos deck for another Share the Spoils.
So this, there are three more cards we're not going to touch on because they're uncommon. Not that they're not good, but we just want to try to keep this show moving. So this will end the section for the Rakdos deck. It was very, very cool. Well, now we're moving into the Bant deck.
This actually... I've had... So... Full disclosure, I have said recently multiple times this set sucks. The Forgotten Realms is like one of my favorite series in general. So I really, really wanted more. And now sitting here talking about him, now I'm in love with the set again. Like every time, that's one thing that I do like about like talking with you guys so much is that like every time I'm a little disappointed, I'm like, it's not that great, it's not that powerful. You guys bring me right back in. You get me right back excited. You guys are basically driving the money to my game store at this point. They're paying you a cut because I am excited about this because I didn't really think about like the replacement of Tuvasa. I was kind of looking more at the Enrage card because I just like to do stupid things. But this is like a really, really fun... That deck looks great, and I had no respect for the deck. This sounds rough, but I didn't really like think it was great going into it. So
I remember the conversation. Sorry, Jason.
No,
So
you're good, Zach.
Dan was texting me, and we were talking about things. I was like, dude, I want to talk about the Rakdos deck. It's super sick. And he asked me, he's like, what to do? I was like, I really don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't know what it does exactly, but it's sweet.
what's it do? Makes me smile?
Yeah, like it's something that I wasn't expecting. And
Your happiness hits the stack.
I respond.
So I will say this: the Bant one doesn't seem that cool. But the creature, the face card's really cool, but this next card,
Storefald?
yeah, Storefall, Frost Giant,
Y'all.
Draw, gives us an entirely new deck.
Mhm.
Like we've never seen a deck like this. So let's start with its mana cost: 4 colorless, and then Bant. Ward 3. All the creatures you control have Ward 3. Beautiful. Get stuff right there, and it's totally playable.
Monster
because it's
mechanic.
7/7.
Ward is just crazy. It's I'm happy
Okay.
that they're continuing it on.
Yes.
Yep, it's now evergreen.
Now,
Nice.
when it enters the battlefield or attacks, choose one or both. Target
One
creature.
or both.
Yeah.
I also just read both. Interesting.
Target creature has base power 7/7 until end of turn. Target creature has base power 1/1 until end of turn. Let's talk about Hydras. Bant Hydras.
Ooh. I didn't even think about that.
And then you're going to be blocking. You get a 1/1.
Ew.
Bant 7/7 Hydras with 20 counters on them.
Yeah.
So they can become enormous. You can also, on attack, so anything that has like a good attack trigger, you turn it into a 7/7 on its face. And then, like
Yeah.
you said, turn my anything important into a 1/1.
Or if you want something of yours to die, you make it a 1/1.
Yeah, I
And
guess
you
it
make
is
their
really...
thing. Yeah, it
See,
doesn't...
I'm a bad person. I just would put Elish Norn in the deck, and then I would just whatever creature
yeah.
I don't want to live, I would simply Storvald it into a 1/1 and be like, goodbye, my friend,
I mean,
Yeah.
and then turn Elish Norn into a 7/7. What are we talking about?
You mean, yeah, it would be a 7/7 and he's a 9/9?
what?
Yeah,
So the interesting thing here is the flavor because it has an ETB and on attack trigger, but it's also a giant. So it hits all of our Titans, right? It's another Titan.
yeah.
Uh-huh. And Elish Norn has Ward 3 if you didn't catch that one.
I do. Zach makes a very good point. It is like a. Are you trying to, Zach? What I'm understanding is you want me to build this with Prime Titan.
No, not at all.
Zach is
I'm saying,
Zach
like,
is confirmed pro Prime Titan in the deck. Storvald, Prime Titan, we're a go. Let's go.
I was saying
You know-
more, Sun Titan, which is the best Titan, and then Frost Titan, which is forgotten about and it shouldn't be.
I don't
I
know,
love Frost
Uro's
Titan.
pretty good.
Wait, so that means Frost Titan gets Ward 3 and has Mana Leak on it?
Oh man, that's annoying. That's you've now made immortal Frost Titans.
So
And he's a 7/7 on swing.
Wow.
To be honest, for anyone who's ever played against a Bant deck, you know that they're annoying. There's no other way around it. It's very fun to play a Bant deck. I love it personally. But like my Rune deck is called Ruin Your Friendships. It's not fun for the table. And then you just make all of your nonsense Ward 3. You have like power buff, power minus. Like this does, like you said, on its face, again, no respect for the commander. We read it, we talked about it. I'm gonna make a Starfall deck. It's so fun.
Yeah.
I don't have a Bant deck, and this one I actually would build because it's just very, like, it's cool. Like, it doesn't feel, it's obnoxious, but not in the sense that, like, you have to play with flicker abilities or you have to play with enchantments or artifacts.
I love
You can
ETB.
literally just make a deck with cool creatures
Love
or little
ETB,
guys that
live it.
don't matter. I legitimately might make an impact deck with this, with all the low power impact creatures.
We could sit here all day.
Oh,
We could sit here all
I
day.
didn't even think about that. But you can make like any of the like any of those blue like infiltrator creatures that can't be blocked. They're
Why did
just
they
now
tell me?
unblockable 7/7 Ward 3s.
Ew.
Uh-huh. So
I was more thinking of like Godhead of All.
Yeah.
So other creatures are all 1/1s, and then you just target one of yours to make it a 7/7.
wow. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
I'm actually
So we could talk about this card all day.
I'm brewing
The
in my head.
ceiling, the ceiling. So the understanding of this card is very easy. The ceiling for this card is out the door.
Yep. I do have to talk the next one because again, love the Forgotten Realms, love all R.A. Salvatore books. They're great. K.W. of Mithra Hall is, in my opinion, a really, really fun new equipment commander because I wish it had partner. Totally do because I would love to partner with Arden. Maybe I'll just play it that way anyways and tell my play group too bad. It is 1 in a green for a legendary creature, human archer. First strike, reach 2/2. Whenever K.W. attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it for each equipment attached to it, which is awesome. Then pay 1, remove all 1/1 counters from it. X damage to target attacking or blocking creature an opponent controls, where X the number of counters removed this way. I really, really like that.
It's a white and a green, not 1 and a green. Sorry.
It's just a list.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's just 2 mana.
You're fine.
Yeah, and he gets power, or he gets +1/+1 counters for each equipment attached to it. Like it could just stop there, and then they just kept adding stuff. This definitely has the we
yeah,
need to
yeah.
make it go to the utmost top tier with it. And I feel like they were just like, what can we keep adding to this until we run out of room?
Did the guy that designed Questing Beast design this as well?
Well, it's green, so of course.
I just looked at the next one, and I now understand why you wanted to read the next card, Jason.
Holy Avenger! Oh my gosh! So we can start with its first line of text. Crypt creature has double strike.
Big
But wait,
bonk, yep.
But wait, there's more. When a crypt creature deals combat damage, doesn't have to be to a player. Note that. You may put an aura card from your hand onto the battlefield attached to it.
Ew.
So what you're saying is that for this 3 mana equipment, I can have Colossification followed by a second Colossification effect.
Yeah.
Eldrazi Conscription and Colossification.
Oh,
Or Val. or just give
Commander
it
Isha
trample.
just got so much angrier.
Yep. Now it does have the high equipment cost of 1 white and 2 colorless, and also
3. They are for everyone who doesn't like white, this is the next one too. Like I read the next one earlier and I was like, well, I'm simply buying all of these as well. There's a lot of cards in this set that I want a ton of. I first off, the fact that it is not to a player is really, really rough because you just swing at anything and like you're not obviously going to take my commander because this is going on my commander. So you're not going to take my double striking commander to the face. So then you're going to take whatever it is, like you said, Eldrazi Conscription, Colossification. That's what, 28/28? Trample?
Plus whatever, yeah.
Oh, and Annihilator. Just put that on.
Man, that's a good card. That is a very, very good equipment.
And it makes sense with now the face commander.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
wanting to play both enchantments and equipment. And I think we need more cards like this, and same with the next card that we're about to talk about.
That one is really, really cool. Yeah, you take this one away too, but I loved this one.
Yeah, I'll let you read it if you want.
I was saying you can go ahead with this one because I know you like it.
Mantle of the Ancients. It is an aura. Enchant creature you control. Costs 3 white, 2 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, you may return any number of auras and/or enchantment cards from the graveyard to the battlefield and attach to the creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura attached to it. There's just so many cards mixed
Aura
together.
and equipment.
The way to deal with a deck like this is simply to get rid of my cards. You need like a Fracturing Gust, you need something like that to just get my nonsense off the board. And then a lot of the time, especially, I really like that it brings equipment back too, because with enchantments, you already are running the risk that if my creature dies, it dies, right? So equipments are a little more sturdy, but they cost the mana. But this brings both of them back. So it's just a problem in every sense of the word. It reanimates all of it.
Well, let's talk about the Holy Vendor. Let's be honest, that's going to be a dies for removal as soon as you play kind of card. This goes, I'm in combat, or no, you can't do it at instant speed, but probably you can with the decks that are running it.
Vidal Canori,
Yeah.
Ley Live Anticipation.
You're thinking
I could go.
You
You're
can
thinking
simply Alchemist's Refuge a land in the colors for that.
Yeah.
But
you
thank God you're in green and you can't tutor the land out easy.
Sigard's
Yeah.
Aid. That's where this lives, right? Sigard's Aid.
Yep.
Yep.
I-
And you can grab your Holy Avenger back from the graveyard.
Well, getting equipment cards attached is like Arden is so strong because of that ability, right? And like there's so many good swords, and getting all of those swords back to my hand. You're playing a deck. Honestly, you might just want to play like Resurgent Belief does like stuff like this, brings your auras back. You might want to play like a self-mill deck where you're bringing your stuff back with a card like this. If it was on a creature, it'd be a little easier, but
The only deck that it cares about equipment and auras that I wouldn't play this in, side note, I would not play it in the mono white Scion, where you get a draw card for each time they enter the battlefield.
Yep.
Because this has no up to. This is just a hard grab everything, put it on the battlefield, and equip it.
Yeah,
That could deck yourself out. That's my only concern with that.
I mean, I'd probably put this in Seguin.
The next one as well, I think, is one of the best equipments printed.
That artwork's beautiful.
I think it's amazing. It's some of the best flat out like protection that you can get. Robe of Stars, it's 1 and a white for an equipment. Equipped creature gets 3. Decent. Equip 1. Very easy to get. Astral Projection is its passive thing. 1 and a white, equipped creature phases out. Treat it and anything attached to it as if they don't exist until its controller's next turn. That is phenomenal.
That's beautiful.
All I want to say is this is what happens when people complain about white not being strong enough.
Yeah, everyone's
They
like,
get
oh,
stuff
white's
like
not strong
this.
enough. And they're like, so you want me to be able to infinitely phase my commander out? And I'm like, well, yeah, but you're playing Grand Arbiter or Augustin. And I'm like, too bad. We're all playing this and it's never leaving.
Yep.
Or your Ellis Norn.
Yeah. The
Your
phase out is
Allison?
there's in Magic there are creatures that have to die. There's no other way around it. There's some creatures you cannot leave on the board uncontested because the game is done if you do. They sometimes will just like stacks a game out. They're sometimes such an overwhelming threat that they're like the Eldrazi Titans, and you cannot like you can't just leave someone who's like casting Ulamog alone. You can't be like, he's not gonna swing that over here. That's not what the Eldrazi players do. They swing it everywhere. So you have to get rid of them, and a lot of them, again, Avacyn, anything like that, there's only a finite amount of ways to get rid of those creatures. Like, you can't destroy my Avacyn, you have to exile it. And for basically 3 mana, I can just indefinitely protect it and everything around it.
Also, it phases out itself.
Yeah.
And you can just phase out in response to them trying to kill it in response.
Yep.
Phasing
All
is
these-
rough. I love it.
All these equipment are dumb. Even the next 2 are stupid.
Well, the next 2 is crazy. The next two.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna read this one. This one's Winged Boots. It's 1 in a blue for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has flying and ward 4, and it equips for 1. Like, why?
Honestly, Ward 4 is nearly the equivalent of Shroud. Like, it's who's gonna try and Path to Exile my card for 5?
Five.
For 5, and hope to God I don't have Robe of Stars on it. Otherwise, you're really wasting.
Or let's talk about the main one that's going to be used because nobody right now. White could be the most dominant color really fast because of 3 equipments.
It already is.
Let's talk about Assassin's Trophy. You got to pay 6.
Yuck.
Are you going to pay 6 to blow up my
Well, and
my Elesh Norn?
let's not forget this is a blue card, and blue players are degenerates, so they're going to counter whatever you like. They already are protecting their things in general, and then on top of it, like this goes in Zur. You put this in Zur, and for 1 mana, he is just almost impossible to remove for the rest of the game.
Can you imagine someone targets this, actually pays 5 mana to Path to Exiles, and you syncopate for 1?
Oh.
They can't.
This is why I like black, because I'm just gonna make you sacrifice your stuff. I don't care about ward.
That's the right choice for the next card as well. I was pretty excited to see another wildly overpowered equipment. They're really, really pushing this one power-wise. We have Belt of Giant Strength, 1 in a green. Equip 10. Equip creature has base power and toughness 10/10, which is big, very big. This ability costs X less to activate, where X is the power of the creature it targets. So,
Oh, this was the one we were talking about before the show.
yeah, like on like Thraster or something, you play 2 mana, and it is just at least it's base power toughness and not an additional 10/10. That's good.
So here's one for you. Remember that giant that we're talking about? Make your thing a 7/7. Now this thing costs 3 to equip it. See
Ooh.
that?
I actually like that. So you put on anything you want, then it becomes a base power toughness 10/10. The power switching mechanic of that card is really, really cool. I'm still not over it.
Yeah.
Also, Hydros, love this. Let me just equip for 0. My creature's now got an extra 10.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
The Zach brought up a very good point. The next card is exactly again what happens when you constantly whine that white isn't strong enough. We get cards like this, which now become nearly auto-include cards. Feysteed. It's 2 double white for a 4/4 elk. So already on its face, that's good stats for a white card. A 4 for a 4/4. It is what it is.
On its Fey.
On its Fey. Yeah. It's whenever it attacks or another target creature. Whenever Feysteed attacks, another target creature you control gains indestructible till end of turn. Solid white effect. Whenever a creature or planeswalker you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Elk Tribal. Be tough, bro.
I'm gonna draw so many more cards in white.
Leovold is honestly a problem because of that, like, draw in response to targeting. So, like, again, something like Azur is going to get targeted and you're just going to sit there and draw answers to it. Anything that just, like, staples on Indestructible followed by card draw is going to be a good card in white.
Also, let's get this out there. His nickname is Spen.
Sven.
Interesting.
For all those
It is
people
a-
out there.
Here's Spen. And they're going to be like, no, we're not watching Frozen yet again.
I am not even going to begin to pronounce this next card.
Netherese Puzzle Ward?
That's the one for 3 and a blue. Cheers,
I don't know
Dan.
if that's the one. It might not be. I'm also like Zach, went to public school, so.
So it's an enchantment with Focus Beam. At the beginning of your upkeep, roll a d4, scry X, where X is the result, and then Perfect Illumination. Whenever you roll a dice, highest natural result, draw a card.
I like that.
Okay, so this card, just going to say, it's just an OG Thassa's or Thassa's.
Intervention, yeah.
Yeah, the scrying. But what makes it super cool is with like all the cards that are in standard right now that make you roll more than one die, and then you take the best result.
Oh yeah.
You draw a card. You just draw a card.
Wait,
You know-
have they reprinted Croc's Other Thumb?
That does coins. I thought I mentioned that earlier.
No.
I thought of-
Crux
Croc's
other thumb Crux thumb is
Other
coins.
thumb.
Crux
Yes.
other thumb is. They really should just. I think that people should just play them as if they're legal.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
do.
That and Prime Titan.
No.
No,
Never
Dan,
Cyclonic
no.
Rift.
You do know there's help for you out there, Dan.
Yeah.
Actually, if they were to nerf a little bit on Prime Time, they printed him again, and they just said basics. I think he could be played in the format because right now he could go for what? Gaia's Cradle and
Tabernacle.
yeah, that's just what he does right now. But if you grab 2 basics, we're much better off, and make them come enter untap. I think nobody would throw a fit.
I really, really like the next one, the Diviner's Portent. I wish there was more Blue Sun Zenith-y. I really
Okay.
like to target players with Blue Sun Zenith. But the Blue Sun Zenith yourself, Diviner's Portent, so it's X and triple blue, very Blue Sun Zenith-y, like I said, doesn't shuffle back in, doesn't target other players. Let's get it out of the way. Roll a d20 and add the number of cards in your hand. If it's a 1 to 14, you draw X cards, which is still pretty good. If it's 15 plus, you scry X, then draw X cards. So that's really, really solid to like, if you can dump 30 mana into this, then it kind of just doesn't matter. But like you can scry 30, draw 30, that is good.
My only heap on this card is you can only target yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Blue Sun Zenith-y. I wish.
Yeah.
Well,
I wanna
Blues on
read this.
Zenith, you can target other players.
Oh, I know.
I want to read this next card. It's a Song of Inspiration. It's 3 green for an instant. Choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your graveyard. You roll a d20 and add the total mana value of those cards. So on a 1 to 14, you return those cards to your hand. 15 plus, return those cards to your hand. You gain life equal to their CMC. I'm not saying that.
Solid recursion at 5 mana as well. Worst case, you still get them back. At 5 mana instant and green, that's nothing.
So you have a Gotha, you have a whatever. You instantly don't even care about the die roll.
Ooh,
gain life.
you can get Colossal Dreadmore and a Golter.
Return those cards to your hand, you gain
Yeah.
life equal to their CMC.
Well, does he know there's help out there for you, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not just
Hey,
me.
they
I'm
they
not the only
reprinted
problem.
it. I've got Phantasmal Dreadmore now. I've got 2.
There's also a black Dreadmaw if we're really talking about, but it doesn't feel like a Dreadmaw.
It's not even a
Next
dinosaur. It doesn't
card
count.
is Valiant Endeavor. It's 4 white for sorcery. You roll 2d6 and choose 1 result. Destroy each creature with power greater than or equal to the result. Then create a number of 2/2 white knight creature tokens with vigilance and equal to the other result.
That's not bad.
Not
That's
horrible.
weird. I like that. That's very weird.
Okay, so I know it's an uncommon, but I really want to talk about this golem. I really want to talk about this thing.
Okay.
So Clay Golem. If we're talking about D&D, this feels like the most on theme like golem. Pay 6, roll a d8, monsterize X, where X is the result of the dice roll. When it becomes a monstrous, destroy target permanent.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool, but the reason why I wanted to talk about it is remember that puzzle word enchantment.
Mhm.
If you run enough of these cards that just increase dice rolls and you get the best one, you're going to get that 8.
Yeah, so
Almost
pay
guaranteed.
6, it gets 8/8, destroys a permanent. I like that.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very niche card. You're not going to see it a whole bunch, but when you do, it's going to be a freaking scary ass card
Yeah.
because
Really,
it's going to be what, a 12/12?
a thick boy. I really like the next card. I was just reading ahead. Ride the Avalanche. 1 green, 1 blue, instant. The next spell you cast this turn can be cast as though it had flash, so Alchemist Refuge-esque. When you cast your next spell this turn, put X/1/1 counters on up to 1 target creature where X is the CMC. That's a great card.
Yep, and now we enter the
dungeon?
the dungeon mechanic cards.
I'm ready to
The-
start.
Ooh.
You guys can fight me if you
Go
want.
ahead, Zach.
This is
I haven't read
Ooh.
it yet, but I like the artwork.
very
Ah.
Cthulhu-esque.
If I butcher the name, y'all know, don't blame me. Nihilor, it's 2 white, blue, black for a legendary creature horror. It's a 3/5. When Nihilor enters the battlefield, for each opponent, tap up to 1 untapped creature you control. When you do, gain control of target creature that player controls with power less than or equal to the tapped creature's power for as long as you control this card. Whenever you attack with a creature an opponent owns, you gain 2 life and that player loses 2 life.
That's solid.
I
Ooh.
like this card a lot.
Hard take. I don't like this card.
Really?
Says horror. Should say mind flare.
That's true.
That's
It's a mind flare.
For each
Plays like
opponent, tap up to one untapped creature you control. So on its face, you can tap it and take something that's a 3.
Mm-hmm. Or if you have a big boy.
I like it. I'm into this one.
When
It's
it enters
really-
the battlefield, for each opponent, tap up to one untapped creature you control. If you do, so what I'm thinking is like Helm of the Host.
Oh yeah, Helm. This is a Helm card.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading the next card, and I'm building the next card.
Oh,
Min Willy Illusionist. 1 double blue for a gnome wizard. So wizard tribal, already a great tribe for it to be in. 1/3, it's legendary. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 blue illusion creature token. With this creature gets 1/0 for each other illusion you control. Phenomenal.
Ew.
Whenever an illusion you control dies, you may put a permanent with CMC less than or equal to the creature's power from your hand onto the battlefield. That's
Okay.
awesome.
I don't think you put this in a wizard deck. I really don't.
I think you put this in
this-
a deck that just tries to draw cards. And I love to draw cards. It's like my favorite thing to do.
Or you can take it this way. I know we talked about the Phantasmal Dread Bomb.
Is this giant thing riding a bear? For the love of God.
if you don't
Yep.
put Phantasmal Dreadmore in there, I'm going to be sad.
It is an illusion
Remember-
Dreadmaw.
It is
Yeah,
an
all
illusion.
those illusions that we just looked at and were like, maybe they'll make a deck, now have a place.
Love this card. Absolutely love this card. I'm 10 out of 10 sold on this card. Love the artwork, love the effect. Illusions, nobody gets to play.
And it's going to make them very scary because you go, oh, if I target it, they
Yeah,
get to put.
Basically,
Oh.
as long as you can draw, which we all know Blue struggles with, as long as you can just draw cards, you just make the general problem with running a deck like this is that like you fill it with cards that let you draw, and then you don't get creatures. So you're stuck like with a situation where you have to like either like try and protect yourself from like being annoying because you constantly have 30 cards in your hand. So you've got to protect, and you only have one creature on the board, and you're trying to save counterspell mana. This is just making you infinitely larger draw like illusions to block with that you can
Yeah.
then like just put your cards into play with. I really love it. I love the card.
I think I love it.
I mean,
Yeah,
you can put things in here like that Jace that makes illusions of itself. You've got that.
Cunning Castaway.
Yeah, you've got that card from War of the Spark that
There is
whenever
a-
you cast a spell, make a bird illusion.
There is a deck tech of this deck coming, just so everyone knows. Here's a spoiler into how my brain works. It's happening. Yeah, I'll talk about this card all day. So somebody, please, the next card.
Hey, Dan, if I pull a Phantasmal Dreadmaw, I'll send you it.
No, that's Lotus. Lotus wants Dreadmaw. I just want this card.
No.
send me Mins.
It works so good in this deck because it's a 4-drop
Yeah,
Oh, I guess.
and it's an illusion.
Yeah. So every oh my lord.
That's what we're
dope.
saying.
A
Yeah.
4-drop 6/6, so I can put something else permanent 6 or less into play. That's a great card.
this
I mean,
day makes me happy that you're discussing a Dreadmore in a good place.
we got there, Lotus.
Someone talk about this card because I want to talk about the next few cards.
Okay.
Okay, Arcane Endeavor. 5 blue sorcery. Roll 2 d8s and choose one result. Draw cards equal to that result. Then you may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value less than or equal to the other result from your hand without paying its mana cost.
That's good. That's pretty good.
It could either be good or really bad.
That's pretty good. Again, 1,000-Year Storm kind of decks. That's pretty good. I love to roll dice, to be honest. I probably will make a Pippa deck. Zach, Pippa's Simic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll probably make a Pippa deck. It seems.
It's a lot of fun. I haven't got to play it as much as I would like to, but it's a lot of fun.
I will say this. This card. Okay, so now we're entering the realm where Magic's actually rolling more dice than the game that it's based off of, that they're trying to base the set off. Which is sad.
I'm fine with that. It's cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a really cool card too. Extract Brain.
I'm reading it. I call dibs.
Go, Zach, please.
Extract Brain. It's X blue-black for a sorcery. Target opponent chooses X cards from their hand. Look at those cards. You may cast a spell from among those cards without paying its mana cost.
That's dope.
And the art is phenomenal.
What is it?
It's a mind flayer eating a brain.
I don't know that's a mind player.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it's Mind Flayer. That's what I thought too.
It looks
It's got
like
the tentacle. No,
Oh,
that's a
just because it's
tentacle.
got tentacles, it doesn't mean that it's a vine player. Could be.
No, they're tentacles from the face. He's got his
Yeah.
hand on this arm, and he's going like this.
Yeah, it's reached out here while he's got his tentacle face wrapped around the brain.
Oh, okay, I see. I thought it was a giant hand grabbing a brain.
He's giving it the
what I'm
good
saying?
suck.
Next card, I'm super excited about this. It's called Grave Endeavor. It's 5 black for an instant. You roll 2d10 and choose one result. Return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the result. Then each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the other result.
That's good.
Ew.
I like that a lot.
Not alive, not dead, but furious.
Mm-hmm.
The next
Okay.
one I really like because I play Zerda. Immovable Rod, I think, is like a pretty fun, annoying Staxy card. It's 1 white for an artifact. You can choose not to untap it during your untap step. When it becomes untapped, you venture into a dungeon. And then for 3 and a white and a tap, for as long as it remains tapped, another target permanent loses all abilities and can't attack or block. That's really, really solid.
Ooh, I
Okay.
like that.
So I call the next card.
One
but Dan,
second. If
Okay.
if I do that on your Omniscience just is a nothing card, right, Lotus?
Yeah.
Love this card. Amazing.
Yeah, it's permanent.
Yeah, that's a really, really good card. And again, in
Or-
Zerda, that's like I
Oh.
paid 2 mana.
or the cradle.
Yeah, in your upkeep, I'm going to make your cradle do nothing.
Oh, I don't like that. You're Bazaar of nothing.
I mean,
I can see
anything-
this being legacy played.
Is this the
Oh,
one you
yeah.
wanted to read here, Zach? Or
No, this is the one. This is the one I want to read.
please go.
But you get the next one, Dan.
Okay.
100%.
All right, you got my
Midnight
attention.
Midnight Pathlighter. Human wizard costs 2 colorless, white, blue, so Azorius. Gotta represent. Creatures you control cannot be blocked except by legendary creatures. That's super relevant text.
That's really, really bad for a lot of people.
Yep.
Yep. Whenever one or more creatures you control deals damage to a player, venture into a dungeon.
That's pretty good.
It's super good.
Is that in your Glen colors, Zach?
It is 100%, and it's a human, which is very relevant.
I
Oh,
like
no.
that.
This card is going to be, as much as we've talked about like cards that could do the adventure, like you can go into the dungeons. This guy alone will complete dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
The turn that they get first, you first go into a dungeon. It will be boom, 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 because it's each creature. So if you play this like in a go wide, I know he's in the wrong colors, but he's probably in the right colors because if they did him anywhere else, it would be go massively wide, swing. I do old.
It's one
do
or
them all.
more, though. So it'll only be for one.
Oh, one or more.
Yeah,
Okay.
sadly.
Duo
Never mind.
combat. Well, if you hit different players, you can go.
If you hit 3 players, yeah.
With double strike, so that's 6.
Oh. Now, you were right. I do want to read this next one. It's really good. So it has flash, amazing. This is Phantom Steed, 3 and a white or 3 and a blue. Sorry, for another card that's going to just ruin any chance I have of friends with Rune. When it enters the battlefield, exile another target creature you control until it leaves the battlefield. So already great. Whenever it attacks, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of the exiled creature, except it's an illusion. In addition to its other types, sack it at the end of combat. So I can trigger that. I can trigger that commander's ability. I can trigger Dai's abilities. I can trigger ETB abilities. I love this card.
Do you
So
know what
good.
this reminds me of? This card reminds me of what happened in my Modern Horizon 2 draft, where I had Dermataxi, and I had Garth One Eye in the graveyard, and I literally just kept making Black Lotuses. This seems like a similar thing.
Dermatoxin's deck.
Or try this one. You play your Phantasmal Dreadmaw. They target it. This thing, the Phantasmal Dreadmaw dies, and you get this thing with that mono blue commander. They both have 4.
Ooh.
I like that.
Or vice versa.
I need to build this Phantasmal Dreadmore deck.
I
I'm
also-
sorry, Dan.
I also
we're
have-
both going to do it.
Let's do it. I also have to read every angel because I love angels as a tribe. Radiant Solar, 5 and a white for a 3/6 flying lifelike angel. Whenever it or another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, venture into a dungeon. So really, really speed through the dungeons with these. Pay 1, discard it, venture into the dungeon, and you gain 3 life. Very, very solid early card in your hand, very solid late card in your hand to get through things. A great bouncer, a flying lifelinker. Love it.
Also, you can just flicker your cards.
Yeah.
And complete dungeons.
I do really, really like the ability. I like the... it was the Prismari deck that really started adding these high-cost alternatives. I really, really like it, because in your opening hand, a 6-mana white card's not great a lot of the time. But the ability to discard it, Zach knows how easy you can reanimate things. Like, I just really, really like the card in general. You get your venture into the dungeon trigger. I think this is a solid card.
Yeah, I was thinking this would actually be good in my Urtai Reanimator deck, or even my Siphus Reanimator deck.
Yep.
This will be great in my... I know I'm a degenerate. You guys can all say it. I have a Kermit guide and then the Revelark with a sack engine, and you can just cheat them in. And I run Panharmonica in the deck, so you can get multiples. So they're just sitting there like, oh, look at me. I'm having cards enter the battlefield and dying all at the same time. And this thing will just go off.
Zach, the next card is obviously for you to read, please.
Yes, Revivify. It's 2 and a white for an instant. You roll a d20 and add the number of creature cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. On a 1 to 14, you return all creature cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield to your hand, and a 15 plus, return those cards from your graveyard to the battlefield.
I love
it. I can abuse this easy. Very
You're not sad either way.
Now, Shadowborn Puzzle. Cough, cough. Lathrios.
I mean, that is the deck that I currently have sitting in front of me.
There's just a lot of ways to abuse it. I really like it for any attrition-based deck. It's most of the time you're going to be running very low-cost creatures anyway, so Revivify is going to bring them back. In that absolute worst case, you're just going to get them all to the battlefield. It's kind of how I felt about Cosmic Intervention. I still think that's a very underplayed, very underappreciated card. This feels very similar to me.
Love that card. The next one I really like as well, Rod of Absorption. 2 and a blue. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery, exile it instead of putting it into a graveyard that resolves. Like that. X, tap, sack it. You may cast any number of spells from among the spells exiled with it. A lot of text. With total CMC value X or less without paying their mana cost. I play Tygam. Tygam cares about like rebounding things. So I'll just rebound them the first time, and then instead of exiling them, I will put them into this exile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're in blue, like it's blue and it's an artifact, which means it's going to be easy to recur.
Well, and it's a really, really good late game one. And it stops people from breaking your graveyard.
Yeah. It's always better to protect it than lose it, you know?
The next one I did want to ask, Lotus, the reading on this one, is it whenever I attack with any creature or just one trigger when I attack?
Whenever you attack.
Just once.
Not each creature. It's just whenever you go to attack.
That's fair. Whenever I sack a clue, enter the dungeon. Thorough investigation. 2 and a white. Whenever you attack, investigate. And I love clue tokens. Absolutely love them. Whenever you sack a clue, venture into the dungeon. Phenomenal.
So the last one I want to mention, because this has a bit of personal history. So the Wand of Orcus, we were doing a D&D campaign. It was kind of like Dark Souls-esque, where it was very difficult. And the main bad guy was called Orcus, and I have nightmares because we fluffed our way through that campaign. We failed hard. So 2 and a black for a legendary artifact equipment. Whenever a quick creature attacks or blocks, it and zombies you control gain Death Touch to end of turn. When a quick creature deals combat to a player, create that many 2/2 black zombie creature tokens and equip for 3.
I'm alright with that.
I'm excited about this.
Disgusting.
I've been really wanting to build Michonne. She's the last of the Walking Dead legendary creatures I haven't built, and with stuff like Wand of Orcus and all the Vecna cards, I finally have like a build I want to do with her.
Also, let's just talk about the scary zombie, the Chaos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's got Intimidate on him.
Yep.
So you throw this on him. Now he becomes a combo piece and a token generator.
Whenever it Death Touch until end turn.
And he has Death Touch, so if they do somehow have a black or artifact creature, that he doesn't kill naturally.
Well, if you just hit something with like a train, you make so many zombies.
Is it wrong that the way I thought of using this was putting it on something with like an assault suit, so your commander's going around the table attacking everything, but you're creating zombies that have got death touch?
Like a Zergo Helm Smasher kind of deck?
Yeah.
That's reasonable. That's 100% reasonable.
Or the False God, Chroma.
Yeah.
That would be sick with her, because now you actually, when she comes around, she does her little thing.
You've got an army.
Now you can use her attack trigger, not just be like, oh, I call Avatar. Now you can be like, I call zombies.
Yep.
Have a bunch of 5/5 zombies. That's cool.
Ooh.
And it's in 5 colors.
Yeah. I will definitely say there's some cards from the main set that I'm excited about, but like where my heart definitely lies is in the commander decks that I've been talking about. Granted, it looks like as of right now we don't have complete spoilers for the red green.
No, I thought so too, but I scrolled back down. We actually went through them without even realizing we went through them. So I don't think we saw the second red-green legendary ones, but I think that it is the Reckless Endeavor and stuff. I don't think that those are from the Beholder deck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Reckless Beholder, Wild Magic, that kind of stuff. So is that Dragon legendary?
Yes.
It is legendary. So that's a secondary commander, is this like mega hasty dragon.
Yeah.
That's
Makes
kinda
sense.
And these are all just the new cards, not the remaining reprints.
Exactly.
Though there is a card that I know that you're obviously listening and you can't see it, but if you, after this, look at Heroic Intervention.
Yeah, the new artwork is great.
The new artwork for Heroic Intervention is beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
Am I crazy that all the other decks got like a third legendary creature and I'm not seeing this one?
Maybe it's a reprint.
Boo. Yeah, I don't know. Regardless, I'm very excited now.
Yeah. I have never wanted all 4 decks before, but I want all 4 decks.
Oh no, there's the... Oh wait, we got... Hold on. It just updated.
Oh?
Oh?
Yeah, we have red-green stuff.
Like right now?
Yeah.
Right now.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Cool. Live update. Let's go.
News just in.
First card
Oh,
is...
no way. It's Wolfgar. I'm reading Wolfgar. You.
Fine.
Silence. Don't know what it does. 3 and Gruul for Wolfgar. First off, they drew him handsome. I'm gonna be honest, a handsome man here. Human Barbarian, 4/4 melee. I love melee. If a creature you control attacking would cause a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. That's awesome.
That's disgusting. How? Why?
That stupid dragon?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a name now.
If a creature you would control was you would put this in Dragon or something.
Yeah, you would.
Oh, your legendary dragon at the bottom just got a name.
Oh, what is its name?
I cannot pronounce it.
Let's have a look.
Public school syndrome.
Hang on, I'm dyslexic.
Cloth,
Let's try.
Unrivaled Ancient.
Cloth. Here.
I think so. I don't know. I could be very wrong.
You went to public school and I'm dyslexic. We're all good here.
We're getting there.
I'm reading this next card. I think it's really cool.
Please.
It's Dragonborn Champion, 2 green and a red for a 5/3 Dragon Warrior with Trample. Whenever a source you control deals 5 or more damage to a player, draw a card.
That's cool, especially from a source.
Yeah, that's very neat.
That's a cool red card draw spell. Creature.
I found my favorite Hydra. You guys can do this red card. I don't even care about it.
All right, I'm reading it because it's sick. It's Vengeful Ancestor. It's 2 red for a Spirit Dragon with 3/4 and flying. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks target creature, whenever goaded creatures attacks, it deals 1 damage to its controller. That is awesome.
That's
That's
another Rakdos
awesome. That
charm.
kills people. Yeah, that's the way to kill me. Again.
Okay, ready for this? Neverwinter Hydra. Costs green, XX. As it enters the battlefield, roll X d6s, where X is the number of where it enters with a +1/+1 counter for each of the total of those results.
That's cool. So you can, if you can dump like 10 into this, you roll 10 d6 and it comes in with however many.
Yeah.
So you could possibly get a 60/60 for 22 mana.
Yeah.
That's a functional reprint of Hydra Doodle.
Is that what Hydrodoodle is?
Hydrodoodle is XX green for a Hydra Hound. As it enters the battlefield, roll X six-sided dice, and it enters the battlefield with a number of +1 counters equal to the total results with reach and trample.
Oh,
But
so
this one,
they gave it Ward instead.
Yeah.
yeah, they gave it Ward 4.
Yeah, Connor's Vorinclex deck needs more of these, yeah.
Oh my god, that is so beautiful. I just got naturally trampled because it's a freaking Hydra, but
Yeah.
that is so cool.
Now,
I want to
this,
read.
this next one is wicked. Whoever wants to read it can, but that's
I'm
great.
reading it. It's Druid Purification. It's 3 and a green for a human druid. It's 2/3. When it enters the battlefield, starting with you, each player may choose an artifact or enchantment you don't control. Destroy each permanent chosen this way.
That's great.
I
Oh.
love this. I want to put it in my Carador Yamori deck. That's so good.
That is so powerful. And it's, wow. That's really cool. I like it.
Ooh,
Oh,
the next one's...
Cloth's Will.
Yeah, go ahead, Lois. That's a really cool one. That's the Commander Legends kind of theme again.
Yeah, X red green instant. Choose one. If you control your commander as you cast this spell, you may choose both. I like it when they give you that kind of bonus for having your commander on the battlefield.
Yep.
Breathe Flame. Cast Will deals X damage to each creature without flying, or Smash Relics, destroy up to X target artifacts and or enchantments.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I
that.
like that a lot.
It's super good.
Wow. Hey, Overcharge, I heard you finally found something you fear.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Berserker's Frenzy, 2 and a red. Cast it only before combat or during combat before blockers are declared. Roll 2d20 and ignore the lower result. 1 to 14, choose any number of creatures. They block this turn if able. That's also pretty fun. 15 to 20, you choose which creatures block this turn and how they block.
Ew.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
that's silly.
I like it.
Indomitable Might is an extra. It's 3 and a green for an enchantment aura with flash. Enchant creature. Enchant creature gets +3/+3, and enchanted creature's controller may have it assign combat damage as though it weren't blocked.
Rough.
Why? Why
So
do
you
they
can
do
give-
these things?
So you can give your thing essentially. It's for that big dragon.
That's
You can
rough.
also you can just throw it on anything really. Like you give it Thornamental's effect. This is pretty cool and +3/+3. But this next card, Bag
Oh
of
my
Tricks.
That's disgusting.
I haven't read
It's
this
a-
one yet. Go.
It's a green, 1 colorless artifact. Pay 1 green for. Roll a d8. Reveal cards at the top of your library until you reveal a creature card with convert mana cost value equal to the result. You may put that card onto the battlefield and rest on the bottom of your library.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Ooh,
So if you
pod.
what's a good 8-drop? Because then you can organize so that you can go get any 8 or 7 drop if you hit it.
It's
What's Crater Hoof?
Vorinclex. No, Crater Hoof, Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger.
Oh, I like that.
the new
Yeah.
Cabal, I'm pretty sure.
And then you just, this is going in all the Birthing Pod decks, yeah, because they all have lines that run up. How much is the stupid Protein Hockey? Is he 6?
I like
Yeah,
Oh,
that.
they're
you could put this in Yisan, the Wandering Bard.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. The pod style.
Yeah.
Wild Endeavor is our next one. 4 double green. It's nice. No one has seen these. There's no pre-spoilers. 4 double green sorcery. Roll 2d4 and choose 1 result. Create a number of 3/3 green beast creatures equal to the result. Then search your library for a number of basic lands equal to the other result. Put them onto the battlefield and shuffle. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Just for the record, Protean Hawk is 7.
Protean Hawk
He's
gets them?
7.
Ooh,
Oh, wow.
Zach, I know card costs.
I care about Protean Hawk, okay?
All right, fair.
Oh my god, the next one's amazing.
Okay.
Maddening Hex. 1 red. Enchantment or a curse.
Oh, God.
Enchant player. Whenever enchanted player casts a non-creature spell, roll a d6. Maddening Hex deals damage to that player equal to the result. Then attach Maddening Hex to another one of your opponents chosen at random.
That's wicked.
I love this card.
That feels like you want it in a Vile Smasher deck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Owl Smasher or the Gruul guy that deals 6 whenever they cast a non-creature spell.
Borborygmos?
No, so
Ruthar.
Ruth. Yeah.
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 Oh, you cast a non-creature spell, take damage. Oh, roll this d6, take more damage. Now roll a d3.
This would be so much fun in Grixis Goblin. So I run Clever Impersonator in that deck, and I can make Clever Impersonator become a copy of Maddening Hex.
I like that. The next one, a lot of players already kind of inherently play like this. Chaos Dragon, 1 double red 4/4 flying haste, attacks each combat if able. At the beginning of combat on your turn, each player rolls a d20. If one or more opponents have the highest result, it can't attack that player or planeswalkers they control. So it's kind of like a roll and let's see who I'm attacking.
I like that.
That's silly.
I love the artwork.
Yeah. I gotta say, I'm very excited for the Wolfgar. I really like attack doubling.
I'm just gonna say this. I know they're not gonna make a playmat of Chaos Dragon, but I want to play mat of Chaos Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That Dragonborn Champion is a really, really cool card, too.
yeah.
There are so many cool cards. Like,
I'm still, out of everything, still the most excited about that, the Spoils card, Share the Spoils, and the Blue Illusion. I'm going to really build that a lot.
Right off the bat, like, I already planned on getting Prosper and Sephiroth because I really, like, those are two characters, or two types of D&D characters I play. I have a Tiefling wizard / warlock, so I can be a necromancer and have some, boons. But like, those are just my play styles, and seeing the new cards laid out is very exciting. They did a really, really good job of mixing the D&D feel with how Magic is meant to function. The overall set, like, I'm not as high on. There are some cards I'm definitely excited to talk about when we do get to those cards, but I will say for sure the Commander decks definitely swayed me back to being excited about the set for sure. Yeah,
the Commander decks have excited me for sure, and I'm gonna build all of them. But man, there's some cool ones in it. Mm-hmm. I think Prothis is the more fun one.
Yeah,
I just really like. It's simple, swing hard Magic, and I like that.
Well, if too. I think we were talking about this, and I kind of just wanted to bring it up. Part of the issue, I think, too, with the D&D set, the main set not being as exciting is because we just came off of Modern Horizons 2, and Modern Horizons 2, literally every single card in that set was a banger. There was literally not a bad card from that set. So to have such a high ceiling, high power level set, and then go into a set people have been waiting for years and years, it was I felt like kind of a letdown. But
I mean... It's not only that as well, Zach. We've just come out of Time Spiral as well. Mm-hmm. Everything lately has just been... Commander Legends was amazing. Modern Horizons 2, as you say. And then you come... But what we got to see is this is a core set. It's not like the other sets.
The power creep was pretty big.
Yeah. And I think it's about the time frame that Eldraine came out, and I think... the designers got told to just chill a little bit, and this is the result.
Yeah, it's not so much the power levels are so vastly different because Modern Horizons 2 was meant for Modern. The way Wizards has been trending into Modern, they're basically trying to make Modern Legacy with the kind of archetypes we're getting now, because Legacy is not getting as much love, obviously. So I'm not so much concerned about like the power level of a standard set as much as I just kind of feel like some things were a bit of a miss.
Yeah.
This is how I feel about Modern Horizons 2. Modern Horizons 2 did the worst thing you could do to Modern. Same with Commander Legends. These two sets did something wrong. Commander Legends should have been called Vintage Legends. Because all those cards that they are playing are not Vintage. Legacy, my bad. Legacy, it is just dominating. Like, I play Legacy and Vintage. That's why I get the names wrong so much. I don't even know what format I'm playing until I show up and I'm like, what's tonight? Here's my two decks. But, playing Legacy and playing 4 Jeweled Lotuses. Okay, the format was never made for Black Lotus. That's the whole point of playing Vintage. Now I'm playing 4 of them, and I'm going crazy nuts. Modern Horizons is doing the same thing to that same format. They blew up the format. They made it way more faster, and then they're like, "Oh, let's go to the next step."
Yeah, have you seen that use of the Jeweled Lotuses that way, Zach?
Mm-mm.
So it's only mana for your commanders, but you can doubling cube it.
Yeah, and put it in the pool.
Yeah, so you can
Yeah.
use it. So you basically, they, like he was saying, functionally reprinted like 4 Black Lotuses you can run in a deck. So you turn 4, have 10 mana into your pool.
Mm-hmm.
Or
No,
turn
turn
1,
one.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I was getting at too is that I don't think I know we're a Commander podcast, but personally, I think Modern Horizons 2 did what Modern is needed because we have so many new archetypes. There are so many things that we can't do that now we're able to do. Like, I sold dual lands and I sold Commander decks I wasn't playing to build Modern decks. I've never done that in my entire history of being a Magic player. And so going into this set, I had high hopes that I wasn't going to, play Standard, obviously, because that is just too much to keep up with. Whereas I was just wanting more of the same kind of design space, the same kind of unique stuff. And I feel like with D&D, we would have got more, not trophy cards, but more cards that you just weren't expecting to be, amazing, or expecting cards that you weren't expecting to need in every single set. Because oh man, I never cared about Asmo. I didn't know about her existence, and then suddenly I'm playing a 60 card deck. I built a commander deck. I've been looking at all that stuff, and I was just hoping for more cards like that, where I felt so inclined to build around that because it was just fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what kind of bummed me out about the standard set. Now the commander set, I don't have a Bant deck, and I'm going to build that giant because
That's pretty cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at. It's not so much the power level as much as it was just the design level of oh man, I just want to build 6 different decks around this one card because it can do everything or do so many cool things.
Though, regardless of the power level, I feel that they've got the flavor of this perfect. I'm super happy with the way they've designed it.
I'm already just in my own world looking up cards that I can put in this Wolfgar deck.
If you could see Dan right now, you know that image of the woman with the calculus flying around her head? That's Dan right now.
I'm looking at stupid cards like Bramble Creeper. Whenever it attacks, it gets 5/0 till end of turn. It's a 0/3. But with this Wolfgar thing, it gets it would get 10/0 till end of turn. And I'm obviously gonna Helm of the Host this so that I'm triggering everything 6 or 7 times when things attack.
Now, let's talk about the weird one, right? So Strixhaven has been out. Those those decks, the Strixhaven decks were just playing the same decks that we see.
Mm-hmm.
That we've seen Atrix and Neff years before Atrix and Neff was out.
Yep. It's just a doubling season token deck, yep.
Yeah. We've seen the Witherbloom one where I want to pay life and do things. And then I want to gain life and do things.
But not in green black.
Yeah, that was the only really unique one. And Overlord, we've seen Boros artifact decks all day long. All these decks.
No. Oh no!
Get him off the podcast. I want him out. We've never seen an artifact. We've never seen a Boros Reanimator deck. Never.
Boros Reanimator. He's saying Boros artifacts.
But
no.
The Boros Reanimator.
Lorehold
Reanimator. Boros artifact.
You get me.
I'm just. You guys are going on about these relevant things. I'm just still looking at cards.
But these four guys, other than the Bant one, the face card, these are all pretty unique things to the thing. I guess the Gru one, a little bit we've seen before.
It's unique, though. I'll give you that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the most unique thing, but it's still, there's cards in the pool that have never been played that are now seeing play with all 4 of these decks. Whereas the Strixhaven, it was oh my gosh, my Mana Crypt found another deck to be played in.
Yeah, I'll agree with you that to some extent. Obviously, I thought I was very not high on these commander decks because when I saw the dungeon mechanic, I was like, great, they're going to be super forced in all the commander decks, and I wasn't as thrilled about the dungeon mechanic because I was kind of selfish in wanting to see more dungeons. But I do now after seeing all the unique cards for the set that you can build these in a lot of unique and interesting different ways. Like the Esper dungeon deck seems like it's going to be fun. It doesn't feel forced, as like I was worried they were going to force it in every single deck.
And don't forget, you can only have one dungeon in play at any one time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, let's just point this out here, guys. Another year goes by, another year where Dockside doesn't get returned.
It's true.
There is a reason for that. I was listening to Gavin Verte, and they are going to reprint it. It's just, it takes them a year or two to find design space to do it, but he has confirmed it is going to be reprinted.
That's why we just proxy everything, guys.
First and foremost, you can double Atali triggers with Wolfgar.
Dan, I'm not playing against this. No, all right, yeah, I will.
Hardened Berserker. Whenever it attacks, the next spell you cast costs 1 less. So my next spell is 2 less. You've got Hans. Whenever Hans...
Hang on. Wait a minute.
You got Goldspan Dragon. You can double up your treasure token generators.
If a creature controlled attacking recorded triggered ability... Oh, it's a shame. Boast is not a triggered ability.
Whenever Hans, I think you can't. Oh no, you can't boast on that, so it is activated. But whenever Hans attacks, reel the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it on the battlefield, tapped and attacking. So double down.
What's your Bergie?
Oh yeah, true.
God.
You can put Hans Eriksson.
Oh,
right.
Any battle cry creatures? If you trigger battle cry twice.
So before we start,
Ilrag, you can double Ilrag. What are we talking about?
All right, so before we start down this deck tech, let's wrap this episode up, and we'll do the deck tech on your.
You can do the outro, but I'm still reading cards over here, please.
All right, I want to first and foremost thank you all for listening to this or watching this. We really appreciate your patronage and support. Financially, if you want to support us, we do have a Patreon where we can give you a little bit extra fun stuff. If you want to find any of our podcasts or episodes or even articles, our website is intothe99.com. It's your one-stop shop for all that good stuff. We stream every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. EST. Lotus, you want to tell them about Brewing It Live?
Yep, Brewing It Live is every Saturday at 9 p.m. GMT, 4 p.m. EST, and 2 p.m. MST, where we brew a commander deck from scratch with the help of chat. We haven't got one this week, but we've got one next week, and we might be choosing one of these new exciting cards.
You're definitely going to have to.
Yeah.
And Jason, do you want to give the audience anything on you?
So yeah, I'm Jason, Commander Hub, YouTube, also the Discord's the same, all that good stuff. I keep it all just Commander Hub, but Twitter, all that, everything. But yeah, I'm hoping to be on more episodes, that type of thing.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm sure we'll definitely be back.
And then thank you guys so much for listening. I did just want to say one other thing. You can double Krenko triggers. I'm really excited for this deck. Double Kessig, Wolfbreg. Like, what are we talking about? You guys are going to hear another one of these ones, but I'm very excited. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the spoilers and for hearing me be a child who's now excited to build a bunch of new decks. I'd like to say thank you to my game store who's going to pull these cards for me. And yeah.
So what you're saying is that we're going to be playing in about a few hours on this new deck.
Oh yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We've passed the outro music. Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
That was a long episode. I'm still recording. But yeah, bye for real.
Phantasmal Dreadmore's coming back.